when I came here, I was nobody. And when I started sending my demo for voiceover, all of the jobs that I have done matter nothing because I was nobody. Nobody knew about me. Nobody cared. Like you start from scratch.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Nourish Inside Out. I am here with Romina today. She is the founder of Red Lips Media, and she currently works in podcasting, radio media, and voiceovers. She's originally from Argentina and had moved to Barcelona. So, today we're going to be talking about what it takes to move to another country and the mindset behind it. Thank you for joining us today, Romina.
Thank you for having me, Anita. It's a pleasure. And the first one that we kick in 2025.
Absolutely. I'm super excited about this one. Do you mind telling us a little bit about your story and what inspired you to move to a new country? Was it something that you always dreamed of, or was it a sudden decision?
Yeah. So like you said, I'm coming from Argentina. It's been 5 years now that I'm living in Barcelona. Time flies when you move out. um, so I worked several years in radio as a host, producer, and I was also in charge of the music. I was having a lot of fun. Also working as a voiceover artist. I'm still working as that for different agencies and projects. Um, so then, I mean, I was happy. I was doing everything that I loved, but I knew always inside of me that I wanted to cross the river, like you say, um, to new opportunities because I felt that I have come to a moment that I reached the ceiling very fast, and there was nothing new, no challenges, no nothing, because the city that I'm from, even though it's the second biggest city of the country, you get to know everybody like instantly. So there's nothing new under the sun. Um, and I always wanted to have more opportunities. I always wanted to live in a place where I could share my life with a lot of nationalities and people from all over the world. And I feel that is very important because I wanted to challenge my truth, because when you feel that whatever you do is okay and everything, but it's good to know other realities. So I really wanted that. Also, I mean, Argentina is a beautiful country, but not to live because it has a lot of insecurity. Has a crazy inflation, and I was working 4 jobs to keep up. And yeah, I couldn't live. I was surviving. So that is kind of the mindset that everybody has there.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. How did you feel when you were going to move from Argentina to Barcelona? Were you scared? Were you excited, nervous?
Both. I was scared AF. But I really wanted to do it. Is For context, it's the third time that I live here in Spain, but uh, the first one, I was 2 years old. My parents were together. My dad missed Argentina, so we went back. They got divorced. So my mom got stuck with 3 kids and 2 dogs. Um, and then until we arrived, the moment to come here again, I was studying for fashion design. I mean, I wanted to enter the university, but then it was bad timing because it was 28. So when the banks and everything collapsed, we had just arrived 1 month before. So it was everything bad. Like every sign that we didn't have to be there at that time. And it was very sad, especially for my mom, because not me and not my brothers were working. So we had to move back. And that's where we went to Cordoba, the second city in Argentina. Then I studied there. Radio happened, and happened a lot of beautiful things that I'm grateful for. But for my mom and also for me, it was like as soon as I finish this, I want to go back because there are more opportunities. So sometimes it's true that the third round is like the final. Finally, I'm here and nobody will take me from here unless I want to. But I was scared because I was having dinner with a friend and he was like, well, you can pretend to do exactly the same that what you're doing over there. Because and I was like, oh, fuck. I love what I do. Like, what am I doing? I'm going without job, without contacts, without anything, without a clue of what to do. But I had like a very strong feeling that my time was there. Like I couldn't be any longer in Argentina because I was keeping myself stuck. Yeah,
That's like a really good story of no matter what comes your way, you're still gonna figure it out. And I think that's incredible because it's like, it's like the first time things fell through, so you went back to Argentina. Second time, things fell through again, but you didn't let that stop you, and I think that's incredible. So it's like I always say, like, if you're drawn to another country, another city, there's something there for you, and no matter what kind of obstacles there are to get there, you're gonna figure it out, and you're meant to be there. It's just the obstacles are a small fork in the road.
totally. And also because I had like for example, a very deep friend, she does tarot reading. And though I didn't believe that much, but she is very spiritual. And she threw the cards and everything pointed that I needed to be here. And another person also told me like you are a citizen of the world, so it's no sense that you remain in the same country and in the same place because you're not gonna grow. So yeah,
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'm originally from Chicago, and I remember when I was deciding if I should move to another country, I ended up choosing Mexico, and it's just like I was like, I booked the ticket, the one-way ticket, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. But then I was also thinking, should I do it? And then I was getting all these signs like you just need to go. I remember one time there was this church that I like to watch online, and they were in a different state, so I would watch it online every week. I remember I turned the TV on after I booked my, one-way ticket, and the church was in Spanish, and I was like, "Hey."
what are the odds?
So I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna watch this, and this is my sign. I need to go, and
Truly, truly.
need that push."
Yeah, I feel that life and universe rewards that courageous people. So in the end, it's gonna be tough, but it's gonna be rewarding.
Exactly, I agree. What are some of, like, the biggest challenges you faced during the transition with whether it's emotionally, culturally, because 'cause you're going from one culture to another, or even logistically?
First, I would say emotionally because although I tried to do some sessions with a coach to prepare a little bit, and I really was hoping for this change, but I remember that I was very anxious. Like I wanted to have everything figured out. And I remember that, well, luckily Barcelona has a lot of Argentinian people, so I didn't feel so away from home, even though, yes. Um, and a very dear friend was also here. He came 1 month before me. And I was like, oh, let's do something and let's start a business. Or I was like all over the place and my mind all over the place. And that was very hard to calm down, to figure it out, to try to immerse in the culture first. What has the city to offer me? And yeah, I mean, back then, I mean, I didn't do meditation or anything that would ground me a little bit. And also something that nobody prepared me for and nobody taught. I faced like a big identity crisis and a big identity death. What I mean by this is that back then I used to identify myself a lot by my professional. So I was Romina, the voiceover artist, the radio host and producer, because I was working at a very cool FM station. So, I mean, my face was in public transport. So it's normal. But when I came here, I was nobody. And when I started sending my demo for voiceover, all of the jobs that I have done matter nothing because I was nobody. Nobody knew about me. Nobody cared. Like you start from scratch. Even though you put your voice to a big credit card, it means nothing here because you don't have experience in the country or even in Europe. So that was very hard to navigate. And it took me, I would say, the first 2 years and a half to make that morning. But then I realized that a new Romina was emerging from that. So I had to give it time. I had to give myself time to experiment in activities, in new friendships, in give me the space and the time to actually know and feel what do I wanted to do with my life because I didn't know. Like nothing, something new is coming. I don't know what or how will this evolve. Back then, I didn't think about opening a podcast agency. Like I started my podcast in 2018, but I didn't think about that. Um, so yeah, I would say the emotional part. Even though experienced a little bit of language barrier, but with the locals mostly. But then you learn that you can survive pretty much without having to learn Catalan.
Do you feel like there was a culture shock, and how did you adapt with the language? Because Argentinian Spanish is also different than Spanish in Spain.
Yeah. For some things, yes. I mean, I did have like, luckily, not so much like a couple of situations where local people were angry at me or yelled at me because I didn't speak Catalan. But yeah, like I said, it's just a couple of exceptions. There are a lot of people here that they live for a lot of years and they don't even know Spanish. So that is that is something. And also, compared to Latin America, we work our asses off compared to here. Most of the places they open like 11, 12, and for us it's very late. Like, how is the city functioning? We open things at 7 a.m. We're like all there. So getting used to that was a bit hard. They're not so hardworking. Uh, but on the contrary, it also taught me that it is okay to rest. And mm, also, like trying to separate this idea of getting rest doesn't mean that you're lazy. It means that it is natural. We weren't born to work 24/7, also the weekends. I was coming, like I said, like 4 jobs at a time with, you could figure it out that I didn't have rest. Almost didn't sleep. So I was pretty stressed up. So on that cultural shock, I learned like something good about it.
I can relate with that because coming from Chicago, I didn't know how to rest. I didn't know how to like properly get a good night's sleep because when you come from a city that's just always on the go and it doesn't sleep, I think it's a pleasant culture shock when you go to a country like Barcelona or Mexico because they actually appreciate their rest and they appreciate in the present moment. And I think that's such a powerful tool is learning how to rest and appreciate the present moment.
Totally. Especially here that, for example, there are some months that the whole country is dead. Like August doesn't exist. Like nobody works on August. You can't, if you want to send like something like a proposal, for example, let's say for my podcast agency, I would not get answers like, oh, yeah, let's talk in September. Or even mid July, they start to not reply because they have the minds on holidays. Then December, kind of because of the holidays and everything doesn't exist. January, maybe mid, they start to come back because there's something that is called the I can't remember the name, but it has like it's like a syndrome, you know. La cuesta de enero. It would be like the downfall of January, and it's like people having this depression, this seasonal depression, because they come back from all these days of rest, and they have to come back to work, and suddenly it's like every year in the newspapers is like headlines. Every year the same thing. It's crazy.
At least you know, like, you can predict when people are gonna be responsive and when they're gonna be on holiday.
Yes, yes. So you gotta plan your business around if you have local audience, but since I try to work mostly for outside, but you have like an idea.
That's awesome. So, like, when moving to another country, did you know anybody in Barcelona, or did you have a couple friends, or were you just kinda going in brand new?
Luckily, I had my mom that she moved here some years ago, and three friends and one cousin. That one cousin, then she moved to Copenhagen. Um, but these three friends that they were coming from the same city as me, uh, that helped me a lot to ground myself and try to have plans and not lock myself in the house because it was weird. Like most people like want to go party and everything. I was like so shocked and trying to assimilate everything that sometimes I didn't want to go out. Like I made it pre COVID. Um, but yeah, I started going out and meeting new people, and that really helped me to anchor the first moment. And also to mention, this is important. Like I arrived 8 months before COVID, so luckily I could do something before the lockdown.
Wow. How did you find it? Did you find it difficult or easy making friends and, like, building communities, especially 8 months before COVID?
It takes a little bit of time, but Barcelona is perfect when you're young. It has a lot to offer from different gyms to clubs to social gatherings to events, networking. You can do a lot. Sometimes there's so much that you miss out, of course. Not like the US, of course, because it's way bigger, but you have a lot of offers. So it gives you time to explore and meet new people. And it's like easy to do it. Of course, that building like meaningful relationships and meaningful friendships takes time. Sometimes you meet someone you kind of vibe, but you have to give it time, and then maybe you feel that you're not aligned in values, or you it's like, yeah, it's a little friend, but it's a pass by friend, so it has an expiration date. But they will take you to the people that will stick into your life.
That's so cool. I love that. I think something that helped me when I was moving to another country, because I also came here, like, I didn't know anybody. Might sound kind of cheesy, but like Facebook groups. Have you ever used those?
uh Not so much, but yeah, I mean, I got into a Facebook group, and then I don't know how, but I think because of a Facebook group, I ended up in a creative Argentinians in Barcelona WhatsApp group, and I'm still there. And I got to meet cool people, and also we recommend other creatives or other people. Like, oh, do you have someone to fix your windows or kind of things that you don't know who to ask?
That's true. I think also Facebook groups are, like, also underrated, but they do
Yeah,
have power if you find the right ones. Because I know back in Chicago, there was this group called the Chicago Girls Group, and like new girls or girls that have been living there, they would meet up and make friends. So I was looking for the same thing in Mexico, and it's been great. And I think they're super great and super powerful.
Yeah, also women we tend to do that, like look for groups, because men, yeah, maybe, but they don't do it as much as we do. And I love that because I've met like very interesting people.
I love that. What advice would you give to someone who feels overwhelmed by the idea of starting in a fresh country or even city?
I would say do as much inner work as possible, um, because you have no idea how much it will help you, especially when there will be times that everything will be bad, everything will not come out as you want or as you wish, especially bureaucracy. So you have to have patience. And when those days hit and you feel anxious, you feel sad, you want to cry, you are in your head and you can't see the ending of that. I think that having those tools to calm your nervous system will do wonders for you. Definitely. Definitely. And I mean, don't settle, especially that I felt that when I came, this is something that also happened to me. Like I was imposter syndrome kicked in very hard, because I felt that everybody has had a master degree, a PhD, blah blah blah, and a very cool professional experience, and I have a very unconventional professional experience. So I let that eat me in fears, in doubts, in I'm not gonna do it, I'm not good enough. And it's important to surround yourself with people that can lift you, can help you, can recommend something or someone to move forward in life. And especially another thing that, of course, your family and friends from your home country will be excited about you and your new adventure. And hey, how is it going? Do you have a new job? And maybe you just arrived 1 week ago and you're dealing with a plumber. I don't know. Like, but it's normal. I mean, this is your people. They don't want to make you feel anxious or bad. They're not pressuring you. But I would say that it is helpful if you say, no, I'm taking it day by day and I will let you know when I have something new to tell you. But for now, I'm taking it day by day. So you don't feel that pressure of, oh my God, it's been a month or it's been 2 months that I don't have a job and I feel like a failure. And what am I going to say to my family? And because also everybody has an opinion of your life. This happens more in different cultures, not in every culture, but uh, everybody has an opinion of your life, and you have to put a stop onto that so it doesn't affect your own experience, because otherwise you will not enjoy it.
That's true. I like how you said just take it day by day because, like, you don't have to have it all figured out. I think, especially moving to another country or another city, you're not going to know a lot of people. You're not going to know a lot of places. So, the least you can do is just give yourself the grace to take it one day at a time because that's honestly all we can do. You can have a goal for a year from now, but how are you going to get there? One day at a time. So, I
Yeah.
totally valid.
And also, I would say about speaking about goals and everything. Now that we are on talking about that, we may have plans for what we want to achieve, and that is okay. To have like a perspective, but I would say that leaving room for the unexpected also can is very positive and is very important in your life. Otherwise, you will miss out opportunities that are more aligned to what you are or what that future self is looking. So I don't know. I think that is important to bring that up.
I agree. It's like you can't overcomplicate it and you can't overthink it. It's easier said than done, obviously, But something that I've also been learning is like the let them theory from like Mel Robbins, right?
Yeah, yeah, I love it.
It's the best. It's just like, just let it happen. If things happen that way, let it happen that way. And there's only two things that we can honestly control: our actions and our attitudes. So, whatever happens, let it happen. And we control how we respond and how we feel about it.
Totally. I agree totally.
Absolutely. Looking back, what are you most proud of on your journey?
How far I've come, how self-conscious I am now. Um because I was focusing only on my professional side when I was in Argentina. And being here taught me that we are not one area. It's not that, oh, no, 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 but my goal is now grow professionally and then love will come, then the rest will come. And no, we are a whole. And getting those tools, experimenting also with different alternative therapies from everything. I'm talking like Akashic recordings, meditation, uh, hypnosis, like whatever you feel of trying and experimenting, retreats, do it. Do it because it will make you feel good. And so I would say that I'm proud about that, how far I've come and how, even though it wasn't easy at all, I would say that the first 3 years, it was challenging, especially because I don't count COVID. It was 2 years thrown away. So and all my savings went to the trash because of that. So it was like starting over. I mean, even in spite of that, I always kept going. Maybe I cried 1 2 days, but I kept going no matter what. And I was like looking for answers, trying to journal, trying to write, trying to talk with friends, have my group. And when I see backwards, and how I went from not having a clue what to do with my life and now having my agency, working with amazing clients, doing what I love, and how I'm shaping that is like, I wouldn't change it for the world, even if it started very, very rocky.
Yeah, I like how you said you were starting over, but I think a lot of times, like, we don't want to move to a new place or start a new job or start a new career because we're scared of starting over. But honestly, I always like to look at it from the perspective of we're starting from experience. If you leave a relationship and things didn't go well and you don't want to, you're scared to start over, you're not starting over. You have experience, take those lessons, learn, and apply it to the next situation, and that can go for relationships, career, moving. And I think that's a very valuable thing.
Yeah. And for the ones that deal with imposter syndrome, I always like to say that you're comparing day 500, even of your own life, with day one. And it would be very boring if you have like 10 years experience and you think back in your first day and amazing. You are amazing as you are on your 10 years experience. Like there's no progression, no growth. So again, it's taking day by day and knowing that you're only competing with yourself and you only owe it to yourself, not anybody else.
Compete with who you were yesterday, not anyone around you.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time before you moved, what advice would you give yourself before you moved?
Probably again the inner work. So I had more tools to cope with the anxiety for the first time. Um, that would be it because the rest of the answers came when I was meeting new people here, seeing what other people were doing, and that opened like ideas of what could I move my path forward. But I would say definitely I'm pro inner work. That helps a lot.
I love that. We're all a work in progress. And I think a lot of times, like, we don't want to start something new either because we're like, oh, we're not qualified for that yet, or we didn't do that yet. But who says you're not qualified? Who says you can't do it? Just go out, put yourself out there, get the experience, meet some people, and it's all gonna fall into place in the way that it's supposed to.
Exactly. And even better than you have ever imagined. Ever.
Exactly. I completely agree. I also felt like I had a different calling inside of me. So I just eventually moved to another country and started writing. And yeah, it was scary, but same thing like what you were saying. It's what you're going to take it one day at a time. And like I said earlier, if you're called to another city or country, there's something or someone there for you.
Totally. And now you're in Mexico for how long? How long have you arrived?
So I arrived 7 months ago.
Oh, new, fresh.
Yes. So I'm still learning the language, I'm still adjusting to the culture, but I think that's like one of the blessings is that they enjoy the present here. You know, they take their time. If it's a holiday, don't call anybody.
Yeah. Yes, also the jet lag because it's different. Well, everything.
Exactly. So, what does home mean to you now after living in a new country? Do you consider Barcelona home?
It's a tricky question. I don't know how does it apply for example, you or somebody else that is listening to this podcast. But for me, at least, when you leave your home country, I don't know if there's a place that you can call home again. I don't know. Like, I love being here. For now, is my home, but it will never be home. You know what I mean? Even though I have my mom here, but it's different. It's a different culture. There are things that I miss from Argentina, of course, that is gone because I'm not planning to return, only as a tourist. But I think it's a dynamic home.
Wherever makes you feel comfortable and wherever makes you feel happy.
Yeah, and also because of the time. I mean, when I think that when I turn 50, I probably won't be here. So maybe it's another place that I have no idea where, but I am not rushing to get to know it. So it's what I feel. It's like, of course, you're not gonna want the same things when you're a teenager when you grow up. So then you want party, and then you want grounding, nature, quiet, peace, sleeping early. So that changes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the phases. I feel that. I think that's like also like what attracted me to just moving to another country is because the life was just so fast paced in Chicago. It's like
Yeah.
I slept. You said you worked 4 jobs. I was there too. It's just like
Yeah.
it's like a normal thing.
Goodbye weekends also because as a hairstylist, like Saturdays don't exist.
Saturday and Sunday they don't exist. That's just keep your clothes at the salon if you want. Amazing. So, what's next for you on your journey? Do you plan to stay in Spain for a little bit, or are you just kind of taking it day by day?
Well, this 2024, I fulfill one of my dreams that I've been manifesting for a long time. That is actually traveling more. Um, with because also Barcelona gave me. It doesn't give you everything. I would say for me professionally, it was rocky, so I had to build my own path. But I met the love of my life, so that is something that I'm very grateful for. It's not easy, and it came after again. I'm gonna be very heavy with this, but the inner work and going through very bad partners and bad decisions. So this 2024, we decided to leave everything. We subletted the house, and we made a road trip through the whole Europe. We lived in an island in Finland for 3 months where I also DJ'd. And then we came back from Eastern Europe. So it was amazing. Now, I can Like, I wish it was summer already so we can go again. So the plans will be leaving Barcelona as a base. I realized that after being 5 years, I like it, but sometimes it's too much. It's too intense. Um, I need a little bit more time in nature. And I feel that if I don't stop or my partner obligates me to stop, I'm a bit, I tend to overwork and I'm a little bit a workaholic. So I'm always taking new projects and doing this and that because I'm also very creative and I like creating stuff. Um, so the plan for 2025 will be doing again the road trip, getting to know more places. Hopefully this year soon we will launch a new Instagram account, like telling everything that we've been at the places, what we've learned, show a little bit about the island and everything. So yes,
I am super excited for you. Hearing you say that just gave me goosebumps. Congratulations. Those are it's
yeah. Thank you.
absolutely. So before we wrap things up, tell us where people can find you, where can they support you, and most importantly, where can they listen to your podcast? Because it's in Spanish, right?
It's in Spanish Argentina. So if you want to learn, we were already talking backstage that you have homework. So for anyone that wants to listen to the podcast, they can check the show notes that it will be there. But it will change now the name. But for now, you can look for it as Talks con Romina Hakim. It's a show where we of conversations that help you see things in a different way, with a touch of humor, and it's like a listening experience. I like to call it. And it's short and sweet. It's 15, 20 minutes. Is commute to work, let's say. So you can binge here a couple of episodes. Um, then also in Instagram that I'm active, and LinkedIn for the ones that want to contact me for podcast production. We do custom music. We make the full production and management for business owners and creatives that want to launch and have their own podcasts. And also we have a freebie that they can download from my website that everything will be in the show notes so you don't miss it out.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing all your tips and your mindset on just picking up and moving to another country, the mindset that goes behind it. It's been absolutely incredible.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite. And it was super fun. Super fun.
Yes. Thank you so much. And I'll have all of your links where people can stay in touch with you linked below in the show notes. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of Nourished Inside Out.
Yes, thank you. And let us know what you thought about this episode. And if you have questions, of course, about my path or this new road trip, hit me up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Romina.
Bye bye. Thank you.